Anthony Yarde returns to action on April 24th against some guy called Emin Atra. This individual, 31 years of age, based out of Germany, 17-0, 12 KOs. Hasn't fought anybody I recognize, just taking a cursory glance at his record here. He's fought at super middleweight and light heavyweight. Now, Anthony Yarde said that he had made some changes and that he was going to announce those changes. I think it was at the turn of the year. But the announcement didn't happen. And now, in recent days, he said, I'm still going to make this announcement and you're still going to hear about major changes, but I'm keeping stum until then. So we can only speculate. But based upon this opponent, it doesn't seem like the way he's being managed is going to change much, because when he was being managed by Tunde Ajayi, and perhaps he still is, this is the kind of opponent who he would regularly fight. These people that are plucked from obscurity, some of whom have decent records on paper in terms of the numbers, but if you look at the names, again, it's not a who's who, it's a who's he list. That's what it is on this guy's record. So it doesn't look good in terms of how obscure this individual is. Can we expect him to give Anthony Yarde any work at all? Perhaps Anthony Yarde is just going to be working on different tactics in this fight, because against Lyndon Arthur, of course, he didn't really apply the kind of pressure that he needed to in order to get the win. And by the way, Anthony Yarde has since conceded that after watching the Lyndon Arthur fight back several times, it was a lot closer than he thought it was immediately after the fight. And obviously, being in the fight himself, he thought it was a robbery. Now he says, I still thought I won, but it was definitely a lot closer when I watched it back several times. And that's good to hear that he's come to terms a little bit with what happened, the reality of what happened. Because it wasn't a robbery and it was a close fight. And therefore, because he's acknowledged this, he can now move forward and start making the adjustments needed so that that type of situation is less likely to happen again, where he basically lets a fight slip through his fingers by not stepping on the gas and not imposing his style upon the other guy or his strengths upon the other guy. Because Lyndon Arthur, as we know, good long-range boxer, good jab. And Anthony Yarde seemed content to play that game with him rather than do what he should have done, which was impose himself on Lyndon Arthur more. So let's see what happens here with this Emin Atra. There's been a lot of speculation about what the big announcement is for Anthony Yarde. The main one being people saying that he's left Tunde Ajayi. But there's also been some speculation that he's going to join Sky. Now, this fight right here at the Your Call is on BT, I believe. Yeah, Frank Warren, BT. So it would seem that he won't be fighting on Sky, at least not for now. But let's see what happens over the coming weeks. Is he going to make the announcement during the show? After the show? I don't know. How many of you are still interested in Anthony Yarde's career? Me personally, I am, because he is very naturally gifted. He just didn't have, I know everybody's sick of hearing it, but he didn't have the amateur background that so many other fighters like Joshua Buatsi, for example, had. So he is learning on the job. But if you look at his physical attributes, the hand speed, the punching power, and he's got a chin too. We saw that in the Sergey Kovalev fight. I know he got stopped with a jab in the end, but that was after taking dozens and dozens of Sergey Kovalev jabs in the face throughout the course of that fight. He basically completely punched himself out in the 8th round when he was trying to get Kovalev out of there. And he didn't have anything left for the 9th, 10th, 11th. And Kovalev kept hitting him and busting up his face. Then eventually, he got hit with a good solid jab in the 11th round, I believe it was. And down he went. He went down from exhaustion more than the concussive effects of the punch. But when you do get hit with a good solid jab like that in the 11th, when you're totally exhausted, it can put you down. Nigel Benn got stopped with a jab in his first loss against Michael Watson. Right? Old school boxing fans may remember. And again, that was a similar situation. It wasn't in the 11th. I think Nigel Benn got stopped in, was it the 6th or the 7th against Watson? And it was just a good solid jab that put him down. But similar situation, he blew himself out and he was tired. He was getting busted up. And a good jab is all it took. Obviously, he'd taken plenty of good jabs before that, but it had worn down his resistance. Same with Yarde. But yeah, I think Yarde has shown a good chin against Kovalev. Not an iron jaw, but a decent jaw. He showed heart. He showed, again, the athleticism and all that kind of stuff. He just needs experience. I'm not sure what this kind of experience is going to do for him against Emin Atra. We'll see. I've never seen the guy fight. But he needs experience against opponents who are going to be competitive without being too dangerous right now. But they're going to need to be competitive. If you keep putting him in there against cream puffs, bin men and stuff like that, it's not going to help him. He's fought plenty of those before. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Anthony Yarde versus Emin Atra.